Welcome to Week in Horror.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
The only podcast that will feed your horror need.
The need to feed.
With JL.
Yeah, I'm a fucking masochist. I'll watch that shit.
Eugene.
Somebody has to be the sex symbol, I'm sorry.
Alex.
Shit, I just demonetized this forever.
And Johnny O.
How do you like that shit? Got halfway through the monologue before unmuting myself. Golly, it's one of them fucking days.
With industry guests.
Hi, this is Richard Oakes, Director of Host.
Hey, this is Adam Leader, Director of Host.
This is Matthew Mark Hunter.
I'm Donna Nelly.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
And this is Week in Horror.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
Welcome to prime time, bitch!
News, trivia, and more.
One by one, we will take you.
Join our live show Wednesdays at 7 Central, youtube.com/weekinhorror, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Week in Horror. Stay scared. Hey! Welcome, horror fans. It is Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central Time. That means it's time for another episode of the Week in Horror podcast, the only podcast that's ringing in the new year with fear. I found that line.
The door's that way.
I'll let myself out. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast host, you can join us here for our live show on YouTube. So you too can laugh and scream with us, flex your horror knowledge, and maybe even win some trivia prizes. We have a good one we're giving away today. This week, we are covering select films released in horror history, January 2nd through January 8th. Thank you all so much for joining us. I am JL, and with me tonight are Eugene and Johnny O.
What's up, everybody?
Hey.
All right, so I'm sorry about that. I found that one particular line. It was like, time to ring in the new year with fear. I was like, oh, that's going to work perfectly. I'll see myself out. So I have, okay, before we dive into our stuff, we're kicking off the new year. So we record this just before the New Year's, but when this goes live, it's going to be, in 2022 when this one actually hits the podcast sites. So the one thing I wanted to look at, like to kind of like gauge, because we're kicking off into a brand new year, 2022. We have so many cool things coming up for Week in Horror for all of us individually. This is going to be a seriously badass year for us. But I want to know, what are you guys like for just, what's coming up this year? Are there any horror movies coming up, just like we did last year? Anything coming up 2022 that you guys are really anticipating?
No.
Ouch.
I like the short answer right there.
Nothing at all?
No.
There's so many.
I tried to get excited about something, but there's nothing coming that.
What was it you tried to get excited about?
Well, it wasn't horror films, let's say that.
I mean,
you'll get laid again one day, I promise.
Yeah, maybe.
This will be Johnny's year.
No, honestly, I looked at the 2022 upcoming.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
There's so many though.
Like the fucking sequel to that stupid Orphan movie? No, I don't think so. No.
Orphan wasn't stupid. Orphan was good.
It was fucking stupid.
You hate everything, I swear.
No, I don't hate everything. I just didn't like Orphan. I didn't like Orphan because it was so blatantly obvious what they were doing.
Why do I? Okay, you want to be a stick in the mud, you be a stick in the mud. Eugene, is there anything coming up that you're looking forward to? There's a few that I am.
So in terms of horror films, there's not that much.
Thank you.
I know Scream is coming out in like a week or two. And honestly, I think that franchise has been done to death. The timing's just wrong on it. I did see the preview for Esther. The biggest thing to me about Orphan was the twist at the very end. And it's like, now we know the twist. We know who she
maybe
is.
what they're going to do is they're going to twist, like, no, she really isn't 48 years old.
No, she actually was 8.
She really was 8. What the fuck?
You have what Jeepers Creepers Reborn, which I don't know about, and then you have, I think, what Terrifier 2 is coming.
Terrifier 2. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Maybe that one. Terrifier has great kills, obviously, because we've talked about it before. But I've always felt like the story itself is kind of like like if you tone down the kills in Terrifier, the movie would only be so-so.
Yeah, it's a kill fest, which is fine.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that, because those do have their place. But yeah, the story wise, I agree with you. And then of course, I'm dreading the new Hellraiser film.
Why?
What do you mean why? Who's playing Pinhead?
They hired that actress. Yeah. You're going with the female Pinhead.
I know. I don't know, man. The last how many Hellraiser films are there? 10, 11?
Yeah, but Clive Barker's directly involved in this one.
I know it, but I don't know. It's just something about it. We'll see.
I would need to see a trailer. I don't know if they released one for it.
I haven't seen a trailer yet either, which is one of the reasons why I'm real trepidatious about it.
Okay, so Nerd Journal just brought it up in the live chat, and we'll say hi to everybody here in just a moment. But two that I'm surprised you haven't mentioned. Number one, Nerd Journal just brought up Evil Dead Rise, which Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell, Rob, they're all behind it. Everybody's behind it. It's a continuation off of Fede Alvarez's film Evil Dead, so it's continuing that storyline. Everyone's back for it. Ash won't be in it because but Bruce Campbell's producing, so it'll be true to form. Just like Ash versus Evil Dead, just like so Evil Dead Rise is a big one that's coming up that I'm looking forward to, and of course the new Ethan Hawke serial killer horror film, The Black Phone.
Oh, the BlackBerry is killing people. Ooh.
It's not.
I know, it just sounds stupid to me.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm extra cynical today.
Then of course, Jordan Peele's new one, Nope.
Exactly.
You do what?
Nope. The title is telling me not to watch it, JL.
No, it is not. and then of course, October, Halloween Ends.
Yeah, fuck that franchise.
Wow.
This news, I'm sorry. The second one just ruined Halloween for me. It was so stupid. So many plot holes in it. Yes, I know what I did there, but it is so bad. It is just terrible.
See, like Halloween. So Halloween Kills to me is like The Last Jedi in the new Star Wars. The new Star Wars trilogy. Like The Force Awakens is a good movie. Like I really enjoyed that movie. And then you have like The Last Jedi that just shit on everything in The Force Awakens. So it's kind of like nothing left for the night. And so like I really like Halloween. I love the 2018 Halloween. It's a really good movie. And then it was like, and then you get Halloween Kills, and it's just, I think you had a missed opportunity with the firefighters. That could have been a much better fight scene. That could have been really like a highlight of the entire franchise. Missed opportunity. And then it was just, when we talked about already, Michael Myers kills so many people because they're just asking to be.
They're too stupid to live.
Yeah. Should we call 9? There's a bloody handprint. Should we call 911? No, let's go upstairs and check it yourself.
Those two, I agree. Those two were definitely too stupid to live. Theo, you suspect you just got distracted. There's no one at the front door. Then there's something at the back door. Now there's a bloody handprint. Nobody's dead. Nobody's attacked. There's obviously someone in the house. The front door is right there. You could have walked out and called the cops, and they would have descended on that thing. They would have descended on that residence like a plague. So no, those two. They deserve the fate that they got.
Yeah. So the Quartet that drove the car, you never, as a driver, if you see something, hey, you go take a look at that while I sit in the driver's seat ready to drive off in case we need to get out of here in a hurry. No, let me drive her. I'm gonna get out, and then I'm gonna have some teeny tiny woman with this gigantic fucking hand cannon somehow magically spin fucking JFK style, spin this magic gun bullet thing and shoot myself in the face. Fuck off. It was stupid. This movie needs to be used as toilet paper. Sorry.
Now, the real question here is how many of these are we actually going to watch? Because I'm still going to watch Halloween Ends.
I'm going to watch Halloween Ends as well.
Yeah,
I'm going to see them all.
I'm going to see them all too. You did bring a good point. You did bring a good point about Evil Dead Rises. That's actually something I forgot that was coming out this upcoming year. I actually do want to see it because I've liked everything that's come out of Evil Dead franchise on it. So that is, I will set a high bar and I will look forward to that one.
Exactly. Okay. So yeah. So I'll definitely jumping down. I mean, come on. I've seen the first two movies. I want to see where they're going to conclude at Halloween Ends. Definitely Evil Dead Rise. Big time looking forward to that one. The trailers for The Black Phone look amazing. I've long been an Ethan Hawke fan. I don't care what movies he's in. He always delivers a solid performance. Even in a movie like Daywalkers, Ethan Hawke always comes in professional and does his absolute best. I've never seen a bad Ethan Hawke performance. Even like that Great Expectations movie, him and Gwyneth Paltrow. It's like that was like arts. He was solid. So I will enjoy it for the fact I like seeing Ethan Hawke play bad guys because he was a solid bad guy in Taking Lives. I really enjoyed him in that. So I'm looking forward to that one. Absolutely looking forward to the new Hellraiser. Now that Clive Barker is behind it now because he wasn't behind all the previous shit we've gotten, and we have a new this brand new iteration of Hellraiser. Of like the Hell Priest that I'm really, really enjoying seeing. I think this would be more true to the book, to the short story. So I'm looking forward to that. And Hulu, who is behind it, if you didn't watch the Book of Blood series, the Clive Barker, the Book of Blood film, that was amazing. And I've read that material and the adaptation of that. You can find that on Hulu. It's available there. We watched it as a part of our 31 Days of Halloween. They did an amazing job adapting that material. So yeah, I think that Hulu and Clive Barker have the right partnership, very similar to what King is doing with Netflix in adapting his material and doing quite well with it. So I'm looking forward to that.
You dirty dog, you.
So there's a bunch I'm looking forward to. Of course, Johnny's the giant stick in the mud. He's not looking forward to shit.
No, I'm not looking forward to. Look, I'm gonna watch most of the movies we talked about. Some of them, if they just happen to be on, I'll look at them. But nothing is really like, oh man, yay, let's go to the movies and watch this. No, I'm sorry, no. Nothing.
Yeah, I would like to do a shout out to Sarcasm Gattaca. I was thinking of Gattaca every time I think of Ethan Hawke. Gattaca is one of my all-time favorite movies and one of the best Ethan Hawke performances. It's just a solid movie all the way around. So yeah, definitely Gattaca.
And everybody was fantastic at that. And I especially love the ending of that where the doctor that's overseeing like everything. He was like, he knows. He's not stupid, and he's like, so we're not as dumb as you think we are. But guess what, dude? You're doing it. And so the doctor's like, these mistakes happen all the time. Go for it. And I was like, holy shit! It's like,
yeah, it's like generally right-handed people hold it with the right hand, and like that's it right there. And
I love and Gattaca's a brilliant movie. Doesn't treat the audience like they're dumb. And I just why I really and Ethan Commander Darklight says Ethan Hawke, Lord of War. Hell yes.
That's a good movie.
But he was also in The Purge.
He was in the first one, yeah.
Yeah, he was in the first Purge. I like The Purge though.
I enjoyed the first Purge.
I don't think he was into it though. I don't think that's you talk about. You haven't seen a bad Ethan Hawke performance. Well, that one for me wasn't great. He didn't seem really invested in that movie.
Oh, that didn't come across to me.
I didn't pick that up. I like what they did with the franchise afterwards because after seeing The Purge, I wanted to see more about what was going on in the world. I like the direct instead of following like this one family time and time again. I like how they kind of branched off to other people.
You follow that one guy.
Yeah, instead of follow the one guy who's out in the world instead of like the rich family that's in the house.
So a lot of good movies coming out in 2022, or a lot of potentially good movies coming out in 2022. I'm seriously looking forward to it. Not to mention, of course, the stuff that could potentially happen. We don't know what's going to. There's
coming out.
Do what?
Hocus Pocus 2.
Hocus Pocus 2, and it should be an interesting one. And considering they're getting everybody back for it, so I think that could be interesting. Another good. Other ones that we haven't heard much about: the Christine remake, the Firestarter remake. Those are coming down the pipe. We don't know. I'm like I said, I've said before, I'm 50-50, 60-40 on those. So, but this Blumhouse, so I got no. That's a good thing. I think that's a mark in the good column for those. And of course, further news on Guillermo del Toro's adaptation of At the Mountains of Madness, which I will literally camp in front of a theater if that gets made and released. I will be there like a week in advance. I'll probably have to take a week off from the show because I'm not missing that. I am first in line to see that movie.
But see, like one of the things that worries me is like everything we've been talking about. It's like remake, adaptation, and everything. And it's like I want some new content. I feel like we're getting to the point where they're going to try to remake every single horror movie ever made. So I'm waiting for the Manos Hands of Fate remake.
We should get on that one.
we really should.
And it still blows my mind there was a sequel. It blows my mind there was a sequel. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, did someone thought this was good enough to continue the storyline? It was like, what storyline? There was no storyline.
Well, it's like
what is it like Monos 2, The Adventures of Torgos? It's like
who looked at Torgo as like he needs his own movie.
This fucker needs a spinoff. Oh man. All right, so before we dive in tonight, someone did bring it up. I saw that, and we'll say hi to people real quick, and then we'll jump into it real quick. See, wrote it no last name. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Travis Brown. Good to see you. As a matter of fact, we have a bunch of our amazing patrons in the house. There are their names down there at the bottom. You can see them on the banner. Look at all those amazing people. And I see Travis Brown's in the house. Good to see you. And Tina Jones, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Just guess who's back again this week. I'll be back at work next week, though. But we're so happy that you're here. We do appreciate it. Ivy Gentry's in the house. Good to hear. Good to see you. And I haven't seen Ivy in a bit, so it's good to see Ivy back in the house. And Sir Little Wolf, rue to you, Sir Little Wolf. Thank you for being here. Chris Durham Music Channel's in the house. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Oh. There you go. There's the hello to Sir Little Wolf.
I'm looking at Jinju and wrote it no last name Manos 2 exit the masturbatorium. Torgo, your origin film.
Mr. Malord, all the way from Chicago. Good to see you, Mr. Malord. Sarcasm, good to see you. Thank you so much. Commander Darklight. Charlie Welch is in the house. Good to see you, Charlie Welch. So many of our amazing patrons are in the house. Don't forget, you too can be a patron for as little as $1 a month. $1 a month, and you can be our fanatic, a horror fanatic, and support our show. Of course, check that out. Patreon.com/weekinhorror. We have all kinds of cool tiers that you can check out. All right. And I think I saw Jinju. Good to see Jinju. And Logical Hillbilly's in the house. Good to see you, Logical Hillbilly. UKPI is in the house. Good to see you. Sarah Velez. Pleasure to have you here. Aaron Reese, and one of our the plot horror films. There you go, plot hole. That's Johnny. That's what you should be doing. The plot hole horror films. UKPI, good to see you, and Nerd Journal, and Tony Regime. Skooma Cat's in the house. Good to see you, Skooma Cat. Gabba Gabba to you. Wrote it no last name, and I think I got everybody. Did I get everybody? You see that I'm trying to make it quick because as the audience is getting larger, it's hard to say hi to every. Surf is in the house. Good to see you, Surf. Another one of our amazing patrons. And a lot of Ethan Hawke love, I see. Very cool. And I think I am at the bottom. And Robert Caslow's in the house. What's up, my heretic globetard? Good to see you, sir. Look, all these amazing, amazing people. All right. So someone did bring up, and I think it was... I missed it, but I glimpsed it. Oh, yes. Wrote it no last name brought up. I heard there's a good horror movie coming soon. Nail Gun. So, so there are details on this adaptation that we can't get into just yet. So there's stuff that we know. So, I mean, this is all part of the production process, and the production process is, not very often does it just go boom, 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 and everything happens. I myself am chomping at the bit, but there are things that there are steps that have to be taken before we can actually get into full production on this bad boy. But part of what we're doing here is ignoring the giant bowl of hypocrisy that we're serving up just not but 5 minutes ago, bitching about all the remakes and redos and reboots while working on a remake.
Listen.
I never said any of this.
When you're trying to get your foot in your door, then that's fine. When you're already established and you have 20 feature films under your belt and you're trying to remake something else,
right, there you go. If you're Blumhouse and you've got the hundreds of millions of dollars, accessible, go do new IP. Don't spend hundreds of millions of dollars remaking films that are already out there that people don't have a problem with. I don't have a problem with the original Christine or the original Firestarter. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Leave them. They don't need it. Go remake something else. Go do what Eugene does. Go what Eugene says. Go remake a bad movie. Make a bad movie good.
Remake Monos.
Go remake Monos. Blumhouse, Monos, Hands of Fate. I would see that.
I would. I would see if it was really bad or really good. I would have a blast.
So, for those who don't know, for those who are who are not familiar, we are currently working on putting together a remake. It is a remake of the Nail Gun Massacre called Nail Gun. The trailer for that is available on our YouTube channel. So I know a lot of you have probably checked that out. We linked the trailer. There is an Easter egg that's very easy to find on apparently it was. I'm saying it's easy, but apparently people are like, I can't find it. What's going on?
Everybody's looking in this trailer like fucking they got their Easter baskets ready. They're chomping on their little fucking chocolate bunny rabbits and whatnot, looking for the fucking Easter egg. Meanwhile, it's in giant letters in the thing where to find the Easter egg.
It's literally in the trailer. If you watch the whole thing to the very end,
spelled it out for you.
We actually do. So I just didn't want to throw it out there, just hey, here it is. But yeah, there is a little Easter egg there that will lead you to something very, very cool. And we hope that everybody has seen it. But the trailer is out for that. This project came about because of having Lloyd Cryer on the show. If people are familiar, when we had him on the show, back last year, it was an absolute. Or was it last year or 2019? It was last year, right?
Last year.
Early last year.
Yeah. It was February or March of 2021.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So Lloyd came on the show, and
last year when this airs,
when it drops,
right. So it was 2020, and Lloyd came on the show. Lloyd is a fantastic supporter of the show. We are huge supporters of Texas Frightmare Weekend. One thing led to another, and we wound up putting this thing together. So it took the Rack Focus Film Festival. It's going to be going to other film festivals later on in 2022. So we're really looking forward to how it performs out there. But other than that, it's really opened doors for us, and so this is one of those big things. And more details will come we'll get them to you as they come along. Of course, all of our patrons who help us who have gotten to this point. We couldn't have, we're making movies and shit. We couldn't have done this without your support. And of course, all of them are along for the ride. And we have so many cool things that we're going to be announcing in 2022. We just can't do it yet. But obviously, stay tuned. You will hear all about it. Really, really cool stuff that we have coming down the line. But we do hope you enjoyed the trailer. And of course, if you find the Easter egg, we hope you enjoy what the Easter egg leads you to. So there you have it. Aaron Reese says, I crave more reverb on the nail gun, though. Maybe a little jet of air.
Next time it'd be like a
So it was
fucking Michael Bay with that shit, you know, make the fucking like that's the only sound you hear whenever you hit it.
Come on, dude, you gotta swoop low with the telephoto.
Yeah.
as the visual ante like slowly stands up.
Yeah.
Remember, you have to have enough slow motion scenes to get you to a full feature length time. Feature length time.
Yeah, that's fucked up. You take any Michael Bay film and you speed up all the slow mos, and you got a 45-minute film.
Like a short movie.
Michael Bay only wants a film for like a week, so
Yeah.
like that's he's like, I got 7 days. Let's make something.
Someone said that if you take 300 Rise of an Empire, because it was pretty bad in 300. Zack Snyder did all those like slow motion things, but it was something cool. It was 300. No one's going to complain. But 300 Rise of an Empire was so bad that they used the slow mo so often. Someone said that if you actually sped up all the slow motion scenes to normal speed of the rest of the movie, to the speed of the rest of the movie, you wind up with a movie that's like a little less than it's a little less than an hour.
That's fucked up.
That's how many times they had to use it to get that thing to feature length. And it's like, what are you talking about? Oh, Surf would like to remind us
to make this movie, and you give it 55 minutes.
Surf would like to tell us Michael Bay. So the nails will explode.
They're grenade nails.
Unnecessary explosions all over this motherfucker.
Grenades. You see, that's what it was. So Ronan just brought out Friday the 13th, and then 2009 Friday the 13th, and I knew it was produced by Michael Bay. And he says, "Work in the Friday the 13th into the nail gun sound." That'd be funny. But I was like, "This is Michael Bay."
Not a sound; it's a sound.
It's yeah. I'm watching. I was watching. I remember watching the 2009 Friday the 13th in the theater. So I was like, "This is produced by Michael Bay." That is constantly nagging in the back of my head. This is produced by Michael Bay. This is produced by Michael Bay. There's going to be an explosion. Oh, I know that there's going to be an explosion somewhere. And we're going through the movie. Jared Padalecki's running around. Daniel Panabaker. Everybody's doing their thing. Derek Mears.
Did it start out with an explosion, or am I thinking of a different movie?
Yeah, it's a different movie.
Okay.
So it's going along. It's like, okay, well, wow, okay. So this is not. It's not bad. I don't like the idea of Jason being sympathetic. It's kind of whack. But I do like what they're doing here. Jared Padalecki is an effective actor. He does good in horror, supernatural, obviously. And it comes down to the fight. It comes down to like the big escape. They find the girl. They're running out like this. And of course, when they're running through the little underground little mine areas, a freaking lantern falls and boom, there's a fireball. They actually fit an explosion into a Friday the 13th movie. That had Michael Bay all over it. All over it.
That was probably the only day he was actually there on set too. Because
he's got Michael Bay is a fucking ADD Ritalin needing motherfucker. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Explosion! Woo!
Yeah. No, Michael Bay, he is somebody, he likes to arrive 5 minutes before the first shot and leaves 5 minutes after the last shot's done for the day. And he's like, fuck everybody else. And the crew's like there for 3 hours setting up all this complicated stuff. And oh man, we rehearsed these stunts and everything. And then Michael Bay stumbles out of his Ferrari, hungover last night. And he goes up to the monitor. He's like, all right, fucking roll that shit.
Yeah.
All right, explosion. Climbs back in his Ferrari, closes the door and speeds off.
But you still don't bite the hand that feeds you, as Megan Fox learned the hard way. Because if you bite the hand that feeds you, you wind up in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So just you never want to.
He's the only director that punishes you by casting you.
Yeah, right?
You will be in my film.
Fine,
you want to, Michael?
You want to fuck with me? You get to be the new April O'Neil. No! It's a fate worse than death.
Just blacklist me.
Yeah, at least maybe I'll have some clout. But
no, just destroy my career. I'll go back to waiting tables.
I mean, look at what happened. Look at what happened to her, right? So
you're going to be a star.
So she shits on Michael Bay, which she should have for what he did to her, right? But then she crawls back to him and he puts her in that film, and now she's banging Machine Gun Kelly.
She didn't crawl back to him. That was her punishment.
Well, whatever. They kissed and made up.
I knew that was a punishment from the trailer. It's like, you are worthless. You have nothing to contribute to this movie. Oh, anywho, so
last name says explosions are the Tourette's syndrome of Michael Bay.
That was brilliant. That was brilliant. Hey, and if anybody ever gets the opportunity, I know everybody in this chat watches, or they watch epic rap battles of history.
Yes,
one of my absolute favorite. I'm going to plug him here. Is you need to go watch Alfred Hitchcock versus Steven Spielberg, because that one is about the best movie director, and Alfred Hitchcock versus Steven Spielberg, and then in drops Quentin Tarantino, Stanley Kubrick, and Michael Bay. If you have not seen this, you have to go watch it immediately after the show.
I'm not a huge fan of epic rap battles. Like, they're okay, some of them are pretty good, but that one with the directors had me on the floor laughing. That was just
the Stanley Kubrick one was brilliant. Just his intro alone is just like, oh, good stuff.
I would like to shout out to Jinju for little C4 squirrels.
Carl Spector's little C4 squirrels. Oh, good stuff. Au revoir, Gopher. When you sew the little C4 animals in there. Oh, brilliant stuff. Robert Caslow thinks someone is a heathen, is a heretic, and is very upset about it. I'm kind of curious as to what it is.
All of us.
All of us? Most likely. Probably something.
Probably
something
we gonna talk about these shit movies or not?
They're not shit. Actually, I'm pleasantly surprised. There was one is definitely a shit movie, but I sat through it because I'm a masochist and I will watch that.
Three are shit movies.
I wouldn't say that. Well,
two are shit movies. One's a wet fart and the other one's okay.
We're gonna get into it.
Yeah,
okay.
There's one decent. And then there's a really like.
Oh, there's one that's just like I could have farted into a camera and made a better movie than this one. It's just like what? But there's some interesting stuff behind the scenes on that one about the distribution, the production and distribution company behind that. Terror something. Shit. What is it?
Exactly. Shit. What is it?
Oh goddamn! I have it on my computer. I'm gonna find it, but that's what the company specializes in. But we'll dive into that. So
yeah.
Eugene's gonna kick us off. Eugene, what do we have up first? Let's dive into these bad boys.
This was kind of a rough one. I saw it a long time ago, and I had to go back and rewatch it. And yeah, it's still pretty rough.
Brutal.
Oh, come on! It's not that bad. We have watched so much worse.
Oh yeah. We watched worse for this episode.
That be the bar, JL. This is not the worst movie we've seen.
Come on, guys. We know the bar is low here.
A movie that shouldn't exist, but it
just
does.
At least functionally know how to shoot a movie.
Yeah, well. We start the argument with
the people who worked on this were union. We can say that about them.
I think they were going on strike the next day.
The people who worked on Sharknado were union. Yeah, so, but our first film, Tremors 4: The Legend Begins. Yes. Released January 2nd, 2004. It was directed by S.S. Wilson, and it stars Michael Gross, Sarah Botsford, Brent Rome, Mingalo, and Lydia Look. And in a straight nutshell, it takes place in the past, and it's how the town of Rejection starts dealing with the original Graboids and becomes the town of perfection. And shit gets real.
Does it though?
See, I feel like it's wasted. I just feel like it's like they're in like the barn or something like that, and it's like this little tiny, and it's like I don't even feel like they're in danger most of the time.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. This movie was back to the basics. I don't know if I would call this back to the basics so much as I would say this movie was just a big giant pile of shit.
Okay, so yeah, okay.
I do like the character. What's his name? Michael
Gross.
Michael Gross. I like how they change him up from being the standard, gun loving nut to this, scientific, real calculated. Oh, I don't need guns. I've got this and blah blah blah. You know, I thought I like that. I liked it when that experimentation with the character. But overall, the movie itself, yeah, I'm with you, Eugene. I just didn't feel like they were in any real danger, and it really doesn't make sense to put this out there. Like this event would happen, but nobody would remember it. There'd be no stories about it in perfection after it became perfection. Like, that's something a small, tiny ass town like that would fucking lean the fuck on.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing when you start thinking about prequels, because when you do a prequel, you already know certain characters are going to live because, Michael Gross is Bert's like great grandfather or whatever. So it's like, so obviously he has to live. And so right off the bat, you're like, okay, well, certain characters are going to live. And obviously, you have some characters you don't heard of. They may live. Most likely they're going to die. They're kind of the red shirts of it. But it takes prequels take away from like the scariness, because no matter what danger you put them in, you know they're going to come out okay.
Right.
Right. It's about the obviously, you know, storyline wise, we can definitely jump ahead. We can say, well, we know that this person is so we kind of have something set in stone for us. We know who's going to survive because they got to carry on to tell. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a first movie to begin with. And characters that we're building off of there. It's just fun to go through the experience of shooting giant monsters with, you know, classic, you know, Wild West weaponry, which was fun to see.
Sure.
And I like the back to basic style of this one, because one of the problems that I've kind of accepted at this point, and I just accept the Tremors franchise for as it is now. It's just like wacky fun, just like it's just people with big guns blowing up, you know, carnivorous worms and shit, and it's just funny. They just keep changing the locations and doing new fun things with them. Like now they're into like genetic experimentation and people trying to turn the graboids into biological weapons and stuff. And so, but in this particular one, because 2 and 3 they expanded the kind of, I guess, the mythology of these things so wildly by adding in the shriekers and adding in the ass blasters and just trying to make them, you know, weirder and weirder. And this one, while it did add something new, it added a little like the dirt dragons, which are the little ones that pop out, the kind of larval form of the great big ones. And that was a simple thing. I did egg, small one, then they get big. It was simplistic. It didn't overcomplicate things, and it doesn't strain credulity in that respect. So I kind of dug that there was nothing overtly grandiose. Like now all of a sudden they pop out, now they have thermal vision, and then they they eat a whole bunch of food. Now they can fly, and they fly by igniting their farts.
Yeah.
That's a little like, that's getting a little weird. Whereas in this one, it was just it was simple back to basics. I love the production value, solid, you know, Western style. It was a good Western. Someone actually made the comparison. It was Red Dead Tremors.
I mean, it was a Western. I don't know if it was a good Western, but
and so Little Wolf brings up the Tremors TV series was fun, and it is fun. It's just meant to be mindless monster killing fun.
There's nothing wrong with enjoying Tremors, the series, the whole thing, right? Not just the TV series, but all the films. Nothing wrong with it, right? But these are not films that are going to be. We're not going to talk about the great Tremors franchise like we talk about, you know, the Halloween franchise or the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise or the Hitchcock series, or you know what I mean?
I disagree with that, because I think Michael Gross has given us one of the greatest horror heroes in Burt Gummer, the ultimate American hero.
Yeah, but
that people identify with.
Nobody really remembers a Halloween or they don't remember a horror film franchise for the hero. It's always about the villain.
The Graboids are pretty. I mean, it's like the minute in the first movie Chang comes up, Graboids, Graboids. You knew it was going to be that was the beginning.
Well, it's like with the first one, I love the first Tremors, and right off the bat,
fuck you.
I fucking bow.
That's the mindless monster entertainment. That movie's fun. It knew exactly what it was. We're just gonna have great characters, and we're gonna put them in some funny situations with these monsters, and the monsters were fantastic. The effect, everything about the first Tremors was awesome.
Yes,
on it, and if it kept that up, then if it kept up that quality, if it kept up the amount of fun, or at least stayed around that amount of fun, and you have little moments. I love with, I think, the second one where they fire the 50 cal and it goes through like everything.
Yes.
That was a funny moment on it.
The lack of anticipation how powerful this weapon is, and it just killed everything in its range just down.
Including their truck.
Including the truck, it went straight through the engine block, and it's just kind of like when they line up the shot to look, and it's just a hole clean through everything. It's just brilliant.
Yep.
I mean, there's some funny moments like that, but overall, I think Johnny is right. Where in terms of the franchise, we always remember the franchise by the villain. You remember the Michael Myers and Jason,
right,
and Pinhead and everybody else more so than you would the hero. We know Laurie Strode, but you think Michael Myers first by a long shot.
Because Michael Myers is in all the movies, with the exception of the third one.
Except for one.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's why I think that this one doesn't come down to, this is one of those kind of like rare franchises. It doesn't come down to the villain. You are correct about the villain being, the reason we go and watch these things. Jason, Freddy, Michael, so Pinhead, whatever. It's in this particular one. I think it was after the first one, and I totally agree with Sarah Velez in the live chat. The first Tremors was terrifying, but had funny moments to cool you down for the next scare, because some of those sequences were really kind of scary. The idea of being like dragged down into the earth like that, and like the whole car sequence when the car gets pulled, the entire vehicle gets pulled down, that's terrifying to me. Like that was scary, being trapped in your vehicle and being pulled underground. Oh, that's freaky. And so, but beyond the first film, and they try to continue it with, I think it was Burt Ward. Was it Burt Ward?
Fred Ward.
Fred Ward, my bad. So we try to continue with Fred Ward, and it was okay. It wasn't bad. But there was no, I don't think Burt was, no, Burt was in the second. Was he in the second one? Burt? No, he was not. He was not until he came back for the third one.
Burt
Gummer, Michael Gross's character. He's been all of them except for one.
Well, it wasn't the same. He was in the second one.
Yeah, he was in the second one because he was the one that fired the 50 cal.
He's the one that fired 50 cal.
Was he the one that fired 50 cal?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, so the sequence it's him. It's Michael Gross's work, his role as Burt, that has solidified that franchise. You go to watch him in action to have moments when he's like, I feel I was denied critical need to know information. I am completely out of ammunition.
I mean,
that's never happened to me before.
He is the best character in the franchise. And despite having Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon in the first one, he's the best character. And he has one of the best creature kills I have ever seen in a horror film, where it comes through the wall and it's just him and Reba McEntire just unloading, just straight up standing their ground
on the elephant gun.
broke into the wrong goddamn recruit. And he got to reprise that line later on in the franchise. Michael Gross, I mean, it's wild to think that he was the dad in Family Ties. It's wild. And then he turns around and is like this hardcore survivalist, off the grid, anti-government American, just like whatever. And him and Reba McEntire was fantastic. I wish she had gone on to. She could have been a horror staple. She'd have been great. But in this one, I only watched for Michael Gross's performance as Burt. Burt is awesome. It's such a character, but relatable. It's not like a caricature. It's like there are people out there who you rely on them in these situations, and that's why I like Michael Gross's performance so much. So we watch it for him instead of, because we know he's going to kill all the worms. We know he's going to kill all the graboids. They stand no chance when Burt Gummer comes into town. So that's why I always watch it. That's the enduring legacy of what Michael Gross has created, what he has created.
Yeah,
at such a small role in the first movie. Because Burt wasn't the focus in the first one, in the very first film, and then he turned that into a 7-movie legacy and a TV series legacy that we have. We can always go back and watch, the ultimate American survivalists, kick the shit out of monsters, and that's fantastic.
Well, sure, but as far as we're talking about the legacy or the longevity of this, at best, it's going to be known as the best of the B films.
I'd say it's up there. It ranks up there definitely. As far as like just B monster franchises, I say Tremors ranks up there.
What I'm talking about, like character-wise, rewatchability and whatnot. But when we're talking about the creme de la creme of the horror genre, I mean, it's not going to be up there. We're not broaching the top 20 with Tremors. Not because Tremors is terrible, but just because the type of story that it is. You know what I mean? Because it's a story about the everyday. It's about Bert now.
Right.
How are we going to see Bert in the next Tremors film?
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it. It was interesting though when Kevin Bacon did an interview after Tremors, after the last.
I read that.
Yeah, he's like, "This is the worst movie I have ever done," and this was before he saw it. It was just after production wrapped. He's like, "This is the worst movie I've ever done, and I regret it." And then he actually saw it, and he was very pleasantly surprised.
And for the 25th anniversary, they were talking about bringing Val back. And they just couldn't settle on what they wanted to do because Kevin Bacon said in an interview, like later on around the 25th anniversary of the first movie, he was saying like legitimately, it's the one character that he would actually like to come back to. He'd like to revisit Val in that franchise, just because it was so that he didn't have while he was making the movie, he didn't have a lot of like this movie is like ridiculous. He did enjoy playing the everyman, playing just Val, because it was an easy role. It's just basically, I'm just the every guy. I just deal with shit as it comes along. And his rapport with Fred Ward was fantastic. Those two worked brilliantly across from one another. So I would like to see him come back and play the role. And he himself has expressed interest, even maybe in the 30th anniversary. They could do another Tremors film and come back, especially after the events of the most recent one. Because, this was the prequel film. Tremors 4 was the prequel film. And the recent one, of course, sees the end of the Burt Gummer arc. But I dug, like, going back to Tremors 4, I enjoyed this one immensely more than I did 3. I thought it was an improvement over 3. And they, again, dipped kind of, like, back down. Trying to add in, find people to be comic relief across from him. Jamie Kennedy worked for a little bit. Now it's John Heder in the most recent one. And, you can kind of have that. I dug this one simply because it's simple. It's went back to the first film. It's simple monster killing fun, and I like the Western style. I've always dug the Western atmosphere, and of course, seeing Burt get his hands on a hand crank chain gun at the end, and that was legit. All of the weapons behind that were everything used there. I found out reading about the film, everything was legit. And there was only one difference was one of the handguns they used, or was it one of the rifles? It was one of the rifles they used was not actually made in that time period. It was actually came out like a few years later after the movie was set in the late 1800s. It came out and they were like, but the actors loved the gun so much. They're like, oh, this gun's amazing. We're using it. But otherwise, everything else was standard. Well, and even the chain gun was legit. That was a legit working antique.
Well, and this is the problem I have with Tremors 4 is that Tremors 4 still felt cheap. It felt low budget, despite the guns, despite the set in westerns with the outfits, everything. It just felt low budget. Whereas the first Tremors film was a low budget film. But it doesn't feel like a low budget film. It just feels like they got everything that they needed, and it was awesome. Yeah,
this one feels like a sci-fi, kind of like a sci-fi film,
right? Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, cheap CGI monsters are much cheaper than the legit practical monsters that they made, the legit practical Graboids they made in the first movie. That's, Kevin Bacon's performance, Michael Gross's Burt Gummer, the camaraderie between Kevin Bacon and Fred Ward, and of course, practical monsters. Those monsters, the tentacle shit were actually physically there. The giant thing that came, that comes up, of course, the way they have it set up. But when it's laying there on the ground, the only time that the actors were not actually interacting with it was in the rec room scene. because that was them in front of a green screen where it was matted in front of them and they could just react to it. But otherwise, that puppetry was on point. And I mean, that was practical. It was, the effects were there, and I really enjoyed that. I like that they went to that level.
I mean, absolutely. Which I like to point out how we talked more about the first one than the fourth one.
Yeah,
which just kind of happens from time to time on it. But I want to ask the audience. We've talked a lot about just the franchise as a whole. Where does it rank? The movies that are in it and the characters continuing through. Should this franchise continue, would you be excited about maybe another TV show or another movie coming out? If they used practical effects and they were able to get Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon, and if they're able to get all of them, I know it's a tall order, and Reba McEntire, if you're able to get like the majority of the cast of the first one with practical effects, I would be actually excited about that film.
Definitely. As well. I just don't know where they're going to go with it after the ending of the last one. I mean, I know it's a spoiler if I say it about the latest Tremors 7. I think Tremors 7 Shrieker Island. But anybody who has seen that knows that the Burt Ward arc. The Burt Gummer arc has come to an end. So they can't continue on with that character anymore. So the question is, where could the franchise potentially go with no Burt?
I know they can always try to retcon, reboot, restart, insert in the middle of a timeline or something. We've seen so many, like another franchise we're going to talk about later on today.
Right. So yeah, I don't think it should. I think after this last one, I think this should be the last Tremors film. I think 7 movies in a TV series is fine. It did what it did. You've completed the arc of the one guy who linked the entire franchise together. Michael Gross is coming up on 75 years old. I'm pretty sure he's not doing another one, but like I said, that's pretty much it. So I think leave it alone, And Travis Brown says, no way, 4 movies are enough. Didn't even need 3 more, but you got them. Yeah. Aaron Reese says, I'm sticking to stop the reboots line. Even if they continue the timeline, it's just too close to a reboot. And I hope they don't reboot Tremors. That would just be awful. That would be.
That would. But, all right. So, Johnny, what do we got next?
We've got probably the only redeemable film on this list.
Surprisingly so, right?
I know. I was very surprised with this next film. This next film is the January 3rd, 2020's Inmate Zero. Director Russell Owen, written by Matthew J. Gunn and Russell Owen, starring Meg Alexander, Gabs Barker, Kate Bell, and a handful of other people. Basically, what happens is you have this. There's a prison where all of the violent offenders are sent to perform or to participate, either willingly or unwillingly, in medical trials. Of course, everyone's trying to cure cancer, and we all know what happens when you fucking cure cancer. Everybody becomes raving, ravaging zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the shit gets real line would come in, but I can't say it because it's Eugene's line, not mine.
So
I was shocked that this one was actually. It's not without. It's not without criticism. There are some things that I thought were like it dragged on a bit too much. I think they could have tightened it up and made it a little bit shorter of a film, and it would have kept my attention a little better. But I was surprised with this one here, because this is not something. Again, this storyline we're talking about, the curing of cancer. Oh, zombies. Okay, cool. So we're fucking with Mother Nature again, or we're fucking with medicine again. Zombies. Blah blah blah. Okay, that's kind of like an old trope. But I do like what they did here. I thought it was pretty good. I thought the concept or the idea of the zombies were a little different, a little nuanced differently, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things I dug. So I wrote the script after I had read about the movie and read about stuff like that, but I hadn't watched it yet. But I read a lot about it, so I was like, okay, like this. So and I wrote the script, and then I watched the film, and I was kind of like, oh damn. So looking at what I wrote, I was a little bit more negative because I was anticipating something negative, but I'm happy to say that I was pleasantly surprised. I dug, and one of the things we mentioned, Johnny, when you mentioned about the zombie aspect, that it was kind of new. There was kind of like a nuance to it that we hadn't seen before. I like that they didn't fully explain everything.
Right.
I dug that there were aspects to these things that did not get an explanation, because the idea of the movie is to survive, to escape the prison alive and uninfected without having to, or alive and uninfected, and we're not trying to explain everything. So that puts us really
what does it matter? What does it matter if we know what happens?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, we still have to survive. And I like that because it helped to ground the goals of the protagonists, the goals of the survivors in this. I really dug that. And what really got me is not so much, it's zombie outbreak in a closed space is essentially what the story is. Right. You have an enclosed space. It happens to be a prison. There's a zombie outbreak. The survivors have to get out. That's been done a dozen times. But it was the everything that went into it, the atmosphere, the environment they created, the world that they created in this, like in this little prison, this little microcosm of you don't even need zombies to make this place horrible. And these people dealing with this, and then a protagonist that may or may not be, on the up and up, just because the protagonist is there on death row.
Right.
So, and they don't give you all the information.
They don't let you know if you
right.
did she do it, did she not do it? They leave that ambiguous, but at the end of the day, what does it matter? I kind of, one thing that I dug about her character was the fact that, she had heard about this place before they asked her if she wanted to participate. She's like, no, I'd rather you just send me to death. Fucking put me on the chair. I'll take the chair over this any day of the week.
And one thing I really liked about this film is, as you talk about the atmosphere, this is a textbook film where, looking at it, you can tell it's a lower budget film, but it doesn't feel like a low budget film.
Right.
On it, and because usually
they stretch every dollar.
Yeah, they stretch everything and they get the most out of it. So it comes across as this is just exactly what the filmmakers wanted to do. And like I was watching this, was like, this is actually something that's pretty doable on a very modest budget. And just the situation, the use of cinematography and what they had, they're able to achieve something that the story locks you in.
And they maximize the environment really, really well. A prison is, just given the atmosphere of, just what a prison's intention for, is a naturally creepy place. Cages all around you,
right?
And the how sparse and how almost sterile everything is. But it's not like a hospital. It's dirty, it's gross, it's grimy, it's humans locked. The prisons have an atmosphere about them. Cut the power, turn the lights off, make it all flashlights. It's even worse. And they maximize the effectiveness of utilizing where they were shooting. So because of the sparse natural light that's coming in, and all of the light that's coming in is predominantly artificial, you get a really kind of almost sickly feel to what's going on. Added the fact that this is an infectious zombie outbreak, and it played so well. And I really dug what they built with this. And pretty solid writing, decent zombie designs, and decent acting. I have to give it to him. I was really surprised by this.
Sarcasm brings up a really good point, talking about the lead actress. He said, Sarcasm really loved the lead actress in this one. I was convinced that she was ex-military and would stand up for the good people involved. Too bad she was the only good person. Yeah, she really, her performance was spot on. You could tell that she put a lot of time and attention into this character.
One thing that sold me immediately when found out, because it was when it was dropped the line, because they're talking to her like, she's got military experience. She's, she was working in private security, for the senator, and doing, all this stuff was like interesting. But we're not seeing a lot from her. It's that compartmentalization technique, right, that people that long-term, the people long-term in the military generally are trained to develop. That compartmentalization technique and pragmatism. She is a deeply pragmatic person. It's this or it's this.
Right.
And there's
nothing in between. It's like you have option A, option B, those are the only two things. Make a decision.
Right. And if those are the options available to me, I'm not going to worry about the stuff that's not available to me. I'm not going to worry about what could potentially be or possibly be. This is what's in front of me. This is the choice that I'm making, and the other stuff is inconsequential. because that is that level of psychological training that people that do the job that she was doing, that her character was doing, is necessary for. I love that she nailed that. And so when the first crazy chick, when she's stuck in her cell, says you were special, she sees her tattoos, and she's like, oh, you're special forces, huh? And I wasn't like, huh? I was like, oh, now I get it.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah,
now
it makes sense now.
It makes sense. It's like, well, that kind of level training, because you would say,
so the beauty part about what happened is they showed us that she was special forces before they told us that she was special forces, which makes that reveal more believable. Now it's not, we're just we're expositionally telling you something. We've already shown you this. Right? We've given you the why already. Now we're giving you the what.
Exactly. You already kind of see she has that mindset. You draw attention to a tattoo instead of her sitting at a table. Someone opens up a folder and goes, I see you were special forces.
Right.
Yeah, right.
That tried and true bullshit way to get exposition out.
A similar tactic was used, and it's not a horror movie, but one thing that I enjoyed the most was how they did that in the movie The Condemned. It's a cheap little action film.
I've seen it.
Steve Austin was in it. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. It really is. But they use the exact same tactic to sell it. It's an excellent storytelling tactic. You show before you tell. And we see some aspects of Steve Austin's character that show that he has this capability, that he's trained. Okay, he's probably military. Maybe he's a merc. We don't know really what he is. What the hell's he doing in an El Salvadorian prison, whatever, or a Guatemalan prison. But then we find out later when we go to find out who he is, and the government's like, no, they put a stop on that because the shit is confidential. It's like, okay, who is this guy? And then they find out that he's ex-Delta, and he's ridiculous. And so that works for this one, especially. And I love the fact that our lead in this was a woman. I dug that because it was important to say, there are women in special forces. I like that they went with that aspect. Because it kind of you don't anticipate it. Usually, you have this idea of special forces in your mind. It's like, nope. It could be, if you've got the wherewithal to get through it, if you've got the psychological framework or the will to make it through the training, you could be special forces too. I dug that. Putting it in a female prison, or actually the female section of prison, put a brand new dynamic on this in the way people deal with stress, and of course, really displaying how gross fucking prison is.
Yeah.
I was more concerned about the uncleanliness really at the very beginning. I was like,
I'm going to get a staph infection.
I'm going to get a staph infection just watching. I'm going to get MRSA just watching this damn movie. I was like, you're fucking eating and dealing. And at one point she gets, her crazy cellmate tries to shiv her and slashes her with a razor in the leg. And I'm like, wash your goddamn hands. I don't care if she's going to be put to death if she's facing the chair next month.
That's next month. Today, wash your hands, woman. Yeah. No, I like the fact that she was special forces as a woman, but it wasn't like, hey guys, look at what we did here.
Right. It wasn't thrown in your face.
Right.
It wasn't. It didn't come across as something that was like, we're gonna female empowerment and we're gonna show how awesome all this other kind of stuff is. This is the right way to do it, where it's just part of her character.
It is who he is. Yeah, right.
Yeah. She survived the movie, towards the
end. Nobody
makes
a big deal about it. It's just expected, right?
Right. And she survives the movie by making smart decisions. Right. Not because she's the ultimate badass. Because just because you're special forces doesn't make you, Schwarzenegger and Predator. All right. Just because you're special forces doesn't make you the way Steven Seagal thinks he is in all his movies.
In real life.
And in real life. So legit, she's making the smartest decisions because she's trained to evaluate a situation and make smart decisions. I love the portrayal of this in this particular film. It was smartly done, well shot. And I enjoyed every aspect of it. The only thing I didn't like, and I thought that they really dropped the ball on, was the ending. The ending in the helicopter, getting her picking up and her being the last survivor, that's great.
Spoiler alert.
It agged me. Just the ending in the helicopter agged me. It was just not necessary.
Spoiler alert. We have a 5-year spoiler thing.
Yeah, that's true. But I didn't dig it. I thought it was unnecessary, and I was kind of like, oh man, drop the ball. I see why they did it, but I just didn't think it was necessary. Otherwise, the lead up to that, it's not enough to make me hate the movie. I actually really, really enjoyed it. So the big question really comes down to this. As much as we've lauded about this movie, how surprisingly good it was, it's available on Amazon for anybody who wants to see it. Are we zombied out?
Nope.
And the reason I think
you should have looked at that, Eugene. Just no.
Yeah, just no.
The answer is no. We're not.
No, we're not zombied out.
No.
I like what wrote in the last name here. Strong character that happens to be female instead of strong female character.
Right.
Exactly. When you look at horror films like Ellen Ripley, that's just who she is as a person.
Right.
She just happens to be a woman.
Right.
And she's a badass.
Yeah.
Aaron Ray says, "You mean Steven Seagal isn't a well-trained killing machine? Because I watched a couple of his movies and prayed for death."
That Mad TV skits of him were the best.
Oh yeah, where he went to the diner and he's just killing everybody. Like he just snapped the waiter's neck.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the waiter. It was the owner on the way out.
So Aaron Reese says zombies are now a subgenre. They're good as a background for other themes, but I'm done with the zombies themselves being the big bad.
Okay, but here's the thing: zombies, good zombie films. Zombies have never been the big bad. It's always been about
It's about people,
right? Zombies are just. It's like I always tell people that if you go to a zombie film and you're talking about the zombies, you miss the point.
That means the film itself didn't hit because the zombies are a backdrop. It's like war films.
Right.
The war is the background. So when you look at like great zombie movies, so you think of Train to Busan, Shaun of the Dead, they're allegories for other things, where Shaun of the Dead is more about how we become zombies ourselves with our life, and then it just happens to take it to the extreme. Train to Busan is about working class. That's because you have the rich and you have the poor, and then having to band together on it. And the zombies are just kind of the common threat.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny like that. My wife loves Angela. She loved Train to Busan. She was like, "This is amazing zombie film."
Good.
Train to Busan was really, really good. She says the Asian JL is in that. That is exactly what I would be doing. The dude who wrapped his arms up in the deals, who's just punches zombies. He's just straight John zombies left and right. I was like, she's like, "It's you. It's what you would do." It's like, yeah, I probably would end up doing that. I probably would. But I love Train to Busan. You're correct. Zombies are a fantastic backdrop. They are the arena hazard. We're focusing on what's going on in the arena, but they're the arena hazard. No one talks about the tigers that were in the.
We want the zombies to be cool and do not intelligent things per se, but things that we think it would be within what a ghoul would do. We don't, the makeup's got to be good. The look has to be good. The teleporting zombies, not good. It's a stupid idea. Let's not do that. You know what I mean? We want them to work within the world that the zombie genre has built. But, it's not, I don't watch The Walking Dead for the zombies. I don't watch Night of the Living Dead for the zombies. They just happen to be characters in the show.
Yeah, how humans react to extreme situations, and just like the tagline for like season 6, I think, of The Walking Dead, is it 6 or 7 of The Walking Dead was fight the dead, fear the living, and because that's what the zombie genre should be about. We are the greater threat, and I think Black Summer, which is the prelude to Z Nation, but Black Summer is fantastically done. A prequel series better than its originating series. Black Summer is tragic. It is gruesome. And it's just like, that is pretty much how you'd imagine it would be, where, because you get that feel of people just picking off other people, the stronger just picking off the weaker. And then someone picks off someone who's weak, and then they themselves get picked off by someone stronger. It's just fucking brutal as shit. And I really enjoyed Black Summer.
Well, because when you look at like most zombies in terms of post-apocalyptic world, you strip away all the bullshit of society and civilization. Today we have our rules, we have our structure. If you harm somebody else, you go to jail. And then it's like, now when you strip all that stuff away and it solely becomes about survival, that's when you find out who people really are, because that super nice person who's an accountant at their day job and they make their money and they mow their lawn, all of a sudden could become a warlord that massacres women and children,
right,
in the right circumstance. Or the person who's the quiet, always afraid mouth, all of a sudden is the one who stands up for other people.
Negan was a football coach. Like if you look at it,
reference.
If you look at it, Walking Dead, Negan was a football coach.
Yeah.
And you have like a football coach, and yet he's leading the saviors. This is who he is. Well, I mean, you think about it: leadership. He can spot talent. He knows how to put a team together. He knows how to strategize. He's got everything that it takes to be a leader.
To bang multiple women all at once and make them want to only bang him.
Hey, that's just the pros of being a leadership.
It's the pros of being a leader. Dude, come on! Just that whole scene is like he turns his back on the group. He's like, "Hey, are they still on their knees?" Yeah, everybody is like that. He loved it. Yeah, I mean, it's what it is. But I think Negan is one of the best reasons for watching Walking Dead. And the thing is that we've been so inundated with zombies, and I would think that at some point we will get zombied out if there's just too much in it. I do like it when people try to do something new with them. Unfortunately, I think obviously Walking Dead is coming to an end. Black Summer is not getting the marketing that Walking Dead is. Everybody's watching Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead is actually really picked up its pace. Fear the Walking Dead is doing really, really well. So I'm looking forward to where that's going. Walking Dead is coming to an end. We do have the Carol and Daryl spinoff that's coming along. I don't know where that's going to go. Fear the Walking Dead World Beyond, that was only 2 seasons and that's over. Those are the big Billy badasses on the block. But then of course you have what Zack Snyder is doing with his Army of the Dead universe.
Yeah, there's still stuff that's coming out. I watched it was a Korean show called Happiness. And they actually do a really interesting twist on zombies, because instead of, if someone gets bit, either they're going to instantly turn zombies or they're going to turn zombies over time. You're bit, you're done, that's it whatsoever. Sometimes people are able to control it to a certain point, so it makes you less likely to diet. Yeah, depending on
right.
Some people can control it, some people can't. So it makes it less likely that you're going to kill a family member or kill somebody of your team.
I'm so pissed they canceled that show. 3 fucking seasons and that kind of a cliffhanger and punch Netflix in the face. What the hell?
Netflix canceled things after like 3 seasons.
I love Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant were fantastic in that show.
So was a daughter and the neighbor's kid.
It was great.
Really good, yeah.
You know, I wanted to see where they were going to go with it, and they, of course, they killed it after the whole big. The husband gets infected with what? I don't know, the spider thing. I have no idea what's going on with it. And of course we won't get any more, which really pisses me off. So I like what occasionally we get a good one that hits. Train to Busan was a solid one. Black Summer is really, really good. Fear the Walking Dead is really upped its game. Most of them.
There's the other one, Alive. That other Korean.
Oh, #Alive.
Yeah.
Where the focus is on, but yeah, and what it was kind of like. I kind of dug that as the zombies were. They weren't so much like a commentary. It was like they're the backdrop, but they're like the obstacles. Like this is an obstacle course that we have to run to survive, and the obstacles happen to be zombies. And I kind of dug that. It just new ways to use them.
Yeah, right. It felt like a fresh idea as opposed to the same regurgitated shit.
So I guess we'll find out. I mean, I think that maybe the train's running out of steam, but as long as they can keep coming, I think I kind of agree with Johnny in that. As long as they can keep coming up with new nuanced ways to like showcase zombies, something different about them. I mean, we just got a new Resident Evil film, which I haven't sat down to watch it, but some people say it's pretty good. I don't know. Maybe the truck. Obviously we're gonna get more Zack Snyder Army of Dead stuff for.
Can I just say that was the most stupid movie.
The one cool thing that they put up in that movie about dried out desiccated zombies that desiccate in the sun, and then they fall down, and then when it rains, they rehydrate and they kind of come back. That would have been cool to see. No, we're not going to use that.
Not going to use that. No, I mean the whole idea of sending this team in there to this fucking vault to get the money out before they nuked the place, right? That whole thing was stupid. It was so stupid. The whole premise of the film is they have to get in and have to get this money and get out really quick, and then they fuck that up by showing the guy come out of the vault with all the money after the place was blown up. So you mean to tell me we could have nuked this motherfucker and just opened the vault and got the money and not had to worry about any of this bullshit?
Yeah, Fallout's apparently not a problem,
right?
That's the close to the "it was all a dream" ending.
Yes,
there was that.
So angry.
There were so many weird things. Zack Snyder gave us this universe, the dead universe that he's created, that had all of these weirds. Like, look at all these cool things that we could be doing and playing with. We're not going to play with any of them. You know, we were saving it for, I guess, like a future, like robot zombies. Where did the robot zombies come from? The reanimating in the rain zombies. What about those? This whole idea of alpha zombies and queen zombies. What's going on with that? Why is there some of them are smart and some of them are not smart? It reanimates animals. What's going on with this? Why were there aliens in the opening? What is going on with that? All of these things that we could have explored. We're not going to explore any of them. We're going to tell this stupid story about a heist that didn't need to take place. As a matter of fact, all they needed to do was take the head from the queen and then escape with it. The guy who goes in there to betray them all actually gets the head and then he doesn't leave.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the one thing we didn't explore, the philosophical idea. They weren't the first team to go after that. There were other bodies down there that were dressed very similar to them. They bring up the whole philosophical concept with the demolitions guy. Was that
I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
I know he's a member of Wu-Tang, isn't he? No, Red Man. No, sorry, Method Man. Is Method Man or Red?
Who cares?
Method Man, I think. Anyway, the philosophical demolition dude is in there saying, like, look at these bodies here. They were dressed similar to them. Maybe we're in a time loop. We just keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. You know, that's like us, you know, from the previous time movie. Weird philosophical shit that seems like it fits. We're not going to explore any of it. It's just going to be goofy nonsense. And then that movie aggravated me. Army of Thieves was good. The prequel to Army of the Dead, that was solid. I liked Army of Thieves. That was a fun one. But Army of the Dead was just kind of like, what?
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I wonder if we are, but maybe we're not. I don't know.
Well, that brings me to ask the audience, what is your favorite zombie horror? Be it Army of Darkness, be it The Walking Dead, be it Resident Evil, whatever. Let us know in the side chat, comment section down below, or at weekinhorror@gmail.com. Alex needs things to read while he's taking a poop.
Yes, he does. While he's breastfeeding.
Oh, wait, little mama, you've had enough. It's my turn.
Weird. We just went to a weird place.
Yeah, well, I figured with the next movie, we need to be going to weird.
This is true. Charlie Weld says, impossible for me to answer that question. Zombies are my thing.
Yeah,
I dig them as long as they're done right. You know,
there are a lot of really good ones.
Jinju says, reanimate animals like in Zombie Apocalypse with a 50 cal machine gun on a shopping cart.
There you go.
I mean, and done, and you know, like we've seen it multiple times. Zombies, and Zombies got a fucking sequel, Zombies 2.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What the shit? And then there was I said that I watched this with my wife. Aquarium of the Dead.
Yeah.
Just
I feel like 2, maybe 3 people would die in that zombie apocalypse right there. It would be the most uneventful zombie apocalypse ever.
All we have to do is stay out of the water.
It would be over in half an hour. Yeah.
It's as bad as it sounded. It's Aquarium of the Dead. It's as bad as it sounded. Just complete. And I was like, and Vivica Fox was in it. And I was like, Vivica.
I feel so bad for her.
It's a long way from Kill Bill and Independence Day.
That's a long. I was like, Vivica, what happened? What happened, baby?
She decided too late in her career to take the Sam Jackson.
No, that chick went, I got fucking bills to pay, is what I got.
No, that's what I'm saying, right? She decided too late in her career to take the Sam Jackson route. Well, if I just say yes to everything, maybe I'm going to be a star. Like, no, you're 40 now, so
wrote it no less names says, what was the teen romance zombie movie? Want to be Twilight but zombies? That would probably be Warm Bodies.
Yeah,
which was essentially Romeo and Juliet but with zombies. And I enjoyed Warm Bodies. I liked it. I thought that was pretty cool. Rob Corddry was fantastic. You know, it's like, you know, I'm sorry, I'm all thumbs because he's like legit. Good stuff. All right, so the next one we have up, and yeah. So,
can we pretend like we talked about it and then just move on?
No, we have
no, because we don't have another one to move on to.
No, because this is the hill before the great drop.
Yeah.
So if this was a roller coaster, we're up at the top. We're gonna deal with that before we actually drop down to the next one we're talking about.
We could just pretend like we talked about these next two. Go to the trivia question.
This one is not. It's not terrible. Not as bad as the next
look,
one. So,
we've had to say that line far too many times the past 2 weeks. Okay, this movie's doesn't make you want to keep yourself in the old face. Okay, you know.
Anyway, the next
You've
movie
seen
we have
YouTube videos worse than this.
Okay. Robert Castle has a point. Alexander Daddario in low-rise jeans. I got no problem with it. In a midriff. I got no problem with
you
that.
know, I can find that on fucking Google to have to sit through an hour and a half movie of shit.
True Detective.
Oh,
that's all I gotta say.
True Detective. That's all I got. Yep. There you go. Anyway, so this movie came out January 4th, 2013, and it is Texas Chainsaw 3D. So directed by John Lucenhop, with written by Steven Sesko, starring Alexandra Daddario, Dan Yeager, Tremaine Neverson, Tanya Raymond, Tom Barry, Paul Ray, and Bill Moseley. A little bit of horror icon there. I love me some Bill Moseley.
Yeah, but was he? How long was he in this movie?
At least he was there. So,
they have a bunch of name drops in the beginning, but that's
the film is a prequel that takes place before the original 1974 film titled Leatherface was released in 2017. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or this one was, oh god, I have to look past all of the negative reviews. Basically, the film follows Alexandra Daddario's inheritance of the Sawyer house because she's the last living relative, the last next of kin of that family after the grand shootout. And so she inherits the house, find out, whatever, and turns out that she is she's like kind of like a long lost cousin of the Sawyer family and related to Leatherface himself. And of course, hijinks ensue as she and all her friends come into the property. People start dropping like flies until, we find out that the two of them are actually related. Then it becomes a family affair. That sounded much grosser than I intended when I said that.
Yeah, that's what are you doing, step bro?
So anyway, it's not that kind of movie. Wow. Okay, so the first thing that came to mind when watching this, we could dive into the theme of this kind of Texas Chainsaw movies is basically Leatherface killing people with a chainsaw or killing people in violently gruesome ways. That's what the series is descended into. Tobe Hooper's legendary first film has basically become about giant, huge guy chops up people. Giant, huge guy moves quieter and faster than you anticipate to kill you with giant, loud weapon that you never hear coming.
Right.
Is what that's turned into. So
it's an electric chainsaw.
Yeah, they're eco-friendly. But okay, so it starts off right after the events in 1974. And then it cuts to like present day, right? So if she was born in 1974, why is she 27 in 2013?
No, that's not a plot hole at all.
No, it's just basic math.
Not 48.
Okay, so and some interesting questions here from the chat. It's like Aaron Reese says, if they burn the house down, then where the hell did the profile pictures come at the beginning of the first movie? That's a very good question. And, and then you got Travis Brown says the only good things about Texas Chainsaw 3D is Alexander Daddario and Double D. I mean 3D. So agreed. I get this. I understand these things. But the one thing that stuck out to me, and it occurred to me while rewatching this, was God fucking damn it. This franchise is so fucking chaotic. Like the continuity in this franchise is like it's hard to tell what's going on, because I found out reading that there is 2 timelines that are technically going on here, which is weird. And what I'm talking about is I mean, you guys know what I'm talking. Son of a bitch, I had it pulled up, and because there's actually names for them. No, that's the 2022 film. Fuck, this movie was bad.
Well, I mean,
okay, so the God, and they don't even have them there. But anyway, so apparently the 2003 one with Jessica Biel kicked off its own timeline.
Yes.
And then this, I think it's this one or the one after, it was like kicked off another timeline that started before the events and are leading up into the one that's coming up in 2022. So there's technically 3 timelines. There's the Tobe Hooper version, the Tobe Hooper vision, and then there's the other stuff around it that's going on. So depending upon which movie you see, I don't know. And that's why it's so freaking chaotic. But that's apparently it's okay. I'm not 100% sure. I just know like it's ultra confusing.
I mean, you start getting to the point. This is what a lot of these franchises do, because you look at the Halloween series, where it's okay. You have the Halloween movies, and then you have the Rob Zombie, which skips over some of these, and then these don't become canon, and it gets rebooted again straight out. The only one anybody can agree is that the first Halloween movie took place.
Right. Okay. So I found it. I found it. Travis Brown just said, "Oh no!" It was Aaron Reese said there is a legit motherfucking Texas Chainsaw multiverse. And there is
that nobody asked for.
Okay, so you have the original. You have the original continuity, which is Texas Chainsaw, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. That's the original continuity. Then you have the Platinum Dunes remake continuity, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the one with Jessica Biel. That was the initial remake. Because The Beginning was a prequel to that. So that's the Platinum Dunes remake continuity. Then you have the Millennium Films alternate continuity, which was Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974, and then Texas Chainsaw 3D, which is what this one is. This is the third continuity. Then you have Legendary's alternate continuity, which is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1974 and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is the one coming out this year, 2022. So they include Toby's and then go off in different directions.
I mean, it's almost like comic books.
Yeah. Ultimate Spider-Man, Incredible Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, so on and so forth. But yeah, that's why this franchise is so insane, and why we keep retreading stuff that we thought was not retread. There was a wait a minute, this was established here. Nope, sorry, this is another timeline. So legit, a Texas Chainsaw multiverse is what we are existing in.
And no one asked for it.
Like Johnny, yeah, like nobody asked for this.
No one wanted. This movie itself is like even the teens or they're 20 something whatever aren't the smartest. There's no one to really root for. They meet a hitchhiker. Right. And then they're like, let's leave him alone in this giant house. And they all like drive off. So he's like, let me just go steal some stuff because I've known these people for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
On this. And so then he gets smoked and it's like, whatever. On it. And then the whole get him, cousin.
Where did that accent come from?
Oh, yeah, because she read a letter that let her know that she was a hillbilly all of a sudden.
What is it? Okay, that worked in Tucker and Dale. It doesn't work here.
No.
You're part hillbilly. Oh, now I gotta talk like a hillbilly too. No, you were speaking non-dialectic American throughout the whole goddamn movie.
Yeah, right.
And then all of a sudden you find out you're part hillbilly. And you're part cannibal hillbilly. Now you gotta talk like one.
Look, I'm gonna go over yonder, Yontu.
Oh shit! I'm deliverance related. Time to talk deliverance related.
Yeah.
It's like no.
Yeah, golly, that was so stupid. The whole thing. Oh,
you and your friends came from college.
Because
what are you doing?
Because you inherited a house that was, the house of the crazy people that ate people that I thought burned down for some reason. I don't know why I thought that, but
the house is bigger now too.
It's bigger,
much bigger, almost labyrinth style.
Yeah. Fuck me, how many rooms does this place have?
It's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside.
Yeah, right. It looks bigger on the inside. What the fuck?
Aaron Reese would
like some fucking Harry Potter house, man. I'm telling you, it's fucking shit.
Aaron Reese would like us to stop stereotyping his people.
No, but the whole. Oh man, this one hurt my brain because I was smashing my face against the wall. But watching this, I'm trying to, I want to be positive about this movie, but I just can't.
You have it's the cool kill where the guy gets sawed in half.
That's it.
There were at least some at least some decent kills. That's the focus of the franchise now. It's not even continuity because
nobody cares. Yeah, right.
It's no. Who knows what continuity we're in? If it's Legendary or Millennium or Platinum Dunes or the original continuity, and even the movies in the original continuity or in the other continuities, who fucking knows? And so screw that. We're not worried about that. We just want to see hulking weird bad guy, saw up idiots with the chainsaw. It's pretty much what it's boiled down to.
Pretty much.
And I will admit this had some decent ones. And some of the kind of I thought the director's focus on leading into the kind of you're about to get chainsawed, like the anticipation before it happens. I thought that was pretty solid because that's always freaky when it just happens and you're like, oh, that's gross. But when you're anticipating, here it comes. It's not coming as quickly. Just get it over with. It's like, nah, savor the anticipation.
Yeah, when you put a chainsaw on her shoulder, kind of
right.
thing.
And I'm like, oh, and then I like those. They kind of pulled me in. It's kind of that would be fucking scary.
Well, that's one thing I liked about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Everybody thinks, it's a super bloody movie. No, it's not. Really isn't. There's a lot of stuff that's left to your imagination, which I think is more effective when it comes to scaring people than just, let me show you sawing this bitch's arm off or sawing this dumbass in half or whatever. Leaving shit to the imagination is so much more effective. Yeah. But I just still can't wrap my head around how the character goes from, we got to run and escape to, I read a letter 20 minutes ago that said, this is my cousin and I got to take care of him. Okay, let's kill some people. What the fuck?
We're now a team.
She went that's the full character switch, alignment shift right there. She went from lawful good to just chaotic evil in just one fell swoop. Oh goodness, I was evil the whole time and I didn't know it. What an awesome excuse.
Yeah, right.
Now we're gonna justify the atrocities of my family and all the cannibalism and shit. Oh, it's all good.
I like to eat people. I didn't know.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I rate.
Aaron Reese says the least believable thing was the shirt that never fell off of Alexander Daddario. That shirt was just impressive. Just where it stayed the whole time, just the perfect amount of just we can see a little bit, but no, it was goofy. And I just, I guess a continuation of the series because people just all these different I guess production companies just throwing their hat in the ring to see if they can make one. The next movie that's coming out this upcoming year is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. They're just calling it Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's the I guess it's a continuation of Legendary's alternate continuity. So this goes from the original Tobe Hooper to this one. So I guess they're copying Blumhouse on this with going with the 1978 Halloween to the 2018 Halloween.
You know what? I want to challenge these studios. I keep making Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. I want to challenge you to make a good one.
Can you lower the bar a little bit?
And here's the real key. Stop making our beloved horror icons sympathetic characters. And at worst, don't make them fucking anti-heroes, because that is what Leatherface was in this movie, was an anti-hero. Stop it. Stop.
I mean,
he was.
I get
He
that's what
became
they're
anti-hero
trying
at the end.
Yeah, I get that's what we're trying to do, but just look, I don't understand why this movement, where this movement came from, that we have to have this new layer to these characters of why the sympathetic layer to the characters of why they are who they are. Who gives a fuck? We don't care. I don't need, well, did Freddy Krueger really do it? I mean, was he a victim of vigilante justice? No, he's a fucking evil piece of shit. That's all I fucking need.
Right.
Oh, well, Jason, he did watch his mother get murdered, and I don't fucking care.
Watching your mom get murdered doesn't justify you killing 150 people.
Right.
Oh, even more.
Yeah.
You really want to go for it.
The
thousands of people who's like, I watched my mom get killed like so long ago.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many bodies now.
Yeah.
There's more bodies in Crystal Lake than there's fucking water.
Yeah, no shit. And then the same thing with this, with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We're gonna make this. Oh well, he's mentally unstable. Well, no fucking shit. We already knew that. I mean, why do I have to feel sympathy for these characters? Why is it a thing? Why do I need to feel sympathy for these bad guys?
He kills people with chainsaws. That's it.
That's it. That's the function. That's the form and function of this character. There is no sympathy in this because, as Toby Hooper stated in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the intention of Leatherface was to convey an individual who was so simple-minded and had zero expressive abilities unless he was wearing a face. The concept being that what made Leatherface scary is that if there was nothing underneath the face, that the face he was wearing is him expressing himself because he can't do it any other way. So the face he puts on, that's his persona at the time. If he took that off, there would be nothing there. And that is fucking scary. The idea that someone, in order to actually interact with like anybody, they got to wear the face of another human being. That's freaky. And I like what Toby set up in that. I like what that original one was. And also Leatherface wasn't Leatherface centric. Leatherface was a member of a family. He was ostensibly the muscle of the family.
Yeah, because the most disturbing scene in the first one is the dinner scene.
Yes.
And it focuses more with the hammer and them trying to get the grandfather to hammer the girl than actually Leatherface killing somebody with a chainsaw.
Right.
And that iconic scene at the end.
Yeah, Chainsaw Massacre isn't about Leatherface. It's about the Sawyer family.
The Sawyers, right.
Yeah. Period. It's just, man.
That's why I really didn't mind. I really kind of enjoyed the 2003 remake. I did. I enjoyed the 2003 remake because it went back to that. This was about the Sawyer family. They were all as bad as Leatherface. Arlie Ermey as the dad, the grandma, the grandma and grandpa. All of them were terrible. And I dug that. In fact, you would say Arlie Ermey was just as bad as Leatherface was. We can see the driving force behind Leatherface was essentially just a weapon of mass destruction. You point him in a direction and he goes. Is pretty much it. Everyone else was the ones who were capable of coming up with shit. Arlie Ermey was horrible in that film, and I could see that made sense to me, and I like that interaction there. So. And then, of course, now it's got to be like Leatherface centric because I guess horror icon. But
yeah.
Right. So I want, but the sympathy for the devil thing, leave that shit out. They tried it with Freddy Krueger, fucking failure. They tried it with Friday the 13th. It was the last one we got. That was 2009. They tried it with Leatherface. Thankfully, we have 4 continuities, so I don't know where they're going to go with the next one. I have no freaking clue.
Next thing you know, they're going to tell us that Michael Myers in Halloween. What is this new Halloween coming up in 2022? Who gives a shit? Halloween, who gives a shit? Next thing you know, it's going to be Michael Myers. Oh, well, it's because, he had an Uncle Billy who touched him when he was a little boy. Like, come on, man. No,
I don't think they're going to go in that direction.
I know. I'm being fucking facetious here. But
suddenly, Michael becomes a good guy, and the townspeople are bad.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, it's all the townspeople that were covering up for the terrible priest.
But nonetheless, I want to ask the audience: of all the movies that we mentioned, of all the, and even though the timelines are completely and totally convoluted, I am very, very curious. What is y'all's favorite entry in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise? Like your favorite film of all the ones that have been produced. I think a lot of people are going to go back to the original one, the original Tobe Hooper masterpiece. I know a lot of people who really love 3. I actually happen to like 3 quite a lot. I also like 2, but I like 2 Virtue. I like 2 because 2 is great because it's got Bill Moseley and an early Bill Moseley. You can see him really letting loose. And 3 I dig, and I also I kind of dug a little bit. I kind of dug Next Generation a little bit because Matthew McConaughey, Renee Zellweger, just what the fuck ever, you got to start somewhere, man. But I know a lot of people are going to probably go to the original, but I want to know which one do you love the most? Let us know in the comments below or at weekinhorror@gmail.com or here in the live chat if you happen to be here. So, all right, we got one more to talk about. There's a lot of love. Like I thought, there's a lot of love for the original. The original masterpiece. Yeah,
I would have to go original.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go original. Still, there are some good entries, but the originals, yeah, I mean, it's masterpiece.
Robert Kess says the one where the black guy has the M16. All right. So, yeah, a lot of love for the original in the live chat. But we got one more to talk about. And it's interesting because I wasn't anticipating this when I set this up. Something about this next movie. Eugene's got this one. But something I'm going to bring up about that. I watched this thing and was like, what the fuck? Not the fact that it's so bad.
Enough, I had the exact same reaction when I watched.
I know, right? Okay, Eugene, kick it off, man.
As the roller coaster goes down.
Whenever you get on the Texas Giant and you get to the very top of the first dip, you have Wile E. Coyote there with a sign that says, do you want to rethink this?
Can we rethink this?
Yeah.
Or can we talk about this or something like that?
Yeah.
This is wow.
It was kind of like Titan. It was kind of like Titan, and it was going up the Texas Titan. There was a certain point where I was kind of like, okay, we're going up. And then it just keeps going, and it keeps going. And eventually, you're like, okay, stop. This is too much. It's too high.
I can see the curve of the earth.
It's like the bird is flying lower than I am.
You ever seen that video of the guy that goes out and changes the one light bulb in the world's tallest light tower?
Oh yes.
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, go.
Oh, we're just stalling at this point.
At this point, yeah, this is just all tactics.
So, the last one we have is Hellweek, which was released January 5th, 2010, directed by Eddie Lingle, and it stars people in it.
Yeah.
It's just people. There's not even a Wikipedia page for it. I'm on IMDb, and only one of them has a picture. Robin Griggs. So, yeah, Robin Griggs and other people in it. And basically what it is you have rush week for a fraternity, and they're like, well, we're going to kind of scare people and not scare people, and they end up being locked in with a killer who actually starts killing fraternity and sorority people.
The killer is a mix between the Phantom and the Phantom of the Opera with that stupid fucking mask and then in Leatherface with the chainsaw.
Yeah, just the stupid rendition in some of the worst kills. Not worst kills like brutality wise, but worst kills like, did they just use water and food and red food coloring?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm not even going to say the line. It doesn't deserve it.
No. Because it never does.
It never does.
Exactly. So yes, the film itself is is an absolute depiction as to what you don't do as a filmmaker if you're making cheap ass motherfucking films, which is what this movie was. But I also had to legit say, and I hadn't watched it before I wrote the section in the script. I didn't realize how apropos one of these subjects is. This movie, I think I stopped at 10 when in counting Texas Chainsaw Massacre rips.
Rips, yeah.
Shit that they pulled directly from Texas Chainsaw Massacre from the different pictures, and I was kind of like, is there an original aspect to this thing at all?
No.
Like it was like no, there wasn't. There was one moment I'll give him that. That's when the chick got cut in half with a machete. That I thought looked.
But that was Jason. Jason did that already.
And Jason did that already, exactly. But I was saying, at least that was the one moment. And then you wasted it at the very, very beginning of the film. Now we got to slog through all of this bullshit that you put together. Definitely an example of what you don't do, even if you have no money. I mean,
it looks
and so many stairs.
Bad.
Why do they think like this obsessed with like shooting on stairs?
Oh Jesus Christ! Yes.
Oh my God!
How many stairs are in this place?
How big is this building?
It's the fucking whatchamacallit that the tallest building. It was in India. What is that fucking place called?
The Burj Khalifa.
Yeah. Fucking Jesus
It's
Christ.
kind of like that they found that place and they were kind of like, oh, we're gonna shoot so much shit on this staircase. Yeah, baby. He's like,
oh yes, fuck.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
They have a cool location, but you'll never fucking know about it because all you know about it is stairs. I would love to film a horror film at that location because it's amazing.
It lends itself to it. Yeah, I was very impressed from the outside.
Shit with this.
All you have to do is light. All you have to do is light it correctly.
Yes, that's it. Your production designer will hammer you to death if you like. Here, this is what you have to work with. Okay, I'm done.
Pretty much. Exactly. You get this killer location, and this is the exact opposite when we were talking about Inmate Zero. So Inmate Zero, a cool location,
right?
And they utilize it to the full advantage versus this, where you have stairs, it's not exposed properly, so you can't fucking see half of it.
Right.
It's just this blackness off in the distance that is just terrible.
And not just bad lighting choices, but some weird lighting choices. It's like why do this? Because it's not evoking.
I really want to know what her nostrils look like.
Exactly. That was weird. And then there's a whole sequence where everybody's blue.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure why, but then I was like, oh, because it was when they were first revealed. They're like, oh, there's like a family working down here, and they're all like, everybody looks blue skinned. I was like, oh, interesting, because there is a family, like a blue family that like lives in Kentucky. That's actually like a genetic defect that like a very rare recessive gene that results in everybody in the family having blue skin. That's a legitimate thing you can look up. I was like, oh, did they go with that? Is that kind of like the situation? No, it was just really bad lighting.
Yeah,
it was just a weird lighting choice. Everybody's blue, and then all of a sudden they're not blue.
Then it's regular.
Then what the fuck? What was the point?
It's not their point. Is they didn't white balance their camera,
and they didn't even correct it in color grade.
No.
I don't know what the plan was with coloring this, because a lot of the stuff outside looks just weird, like a weird tint to it.
It's like they found one. They had one still in the movie, and they put just like one of those Peter McKinnon LUTs on it. And said, "Hey, that looks good. Fucking do the whole movie that way."
Yep, just cut and paste everything.
Yeah.
So the one thing about this, and there's really, I mean, I wish there was more to say on this. If anybody does check this out, it is available to watch on Tubi. That's where I mean, it's free to watch on Tubi. You get a couple of ads in there, but Tubi's not too bad about that. But I was sitting here watching this bad boy, and all of these things, just basic stuff that came up when I was in film school. It's like, you don't do that. You don't do that. What is up with this stupid fucking camera work that's going on? So many wasted opportunities. And then they took things. They took things. A lot of stuff from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, a little bit from Friday the 13th, a little bit from. And there's even a little bit of a little kind of like a reference to The Collector. And that as well, with the different levels and like crazy people down there in the bottom, and just weird unexplained shit that they threw in for no reason. Stole the complete scene with a kid with the douchebag, the primary douchebag of the movie, like thinks he's escaped, but the bad guy's in the back seat. Shit like that, like just total rips from other films.
No, we've never seen that before.
Oh, no, what's so original?
So I was, so I had to go into it, and if you're going to steal, obviously the message there is if you're going to at least steal something, at least do it well. At least steal good stuff if you're going to do it. And if you're going to steal good stuff. And if you're going to at least do it like they did. Don't take something that's like, oh, we're going to do that, but we're going to do it our way. No, because the reason it works is because it was done that way. You change it, it's not going to work the same.
If you do it your way, if you're going to do it your way, then don't steal something. Just do it your way. Like, hey, I think it would be kind of cool to have, chop somebody in half with a machete. How would we do that? How would we do that? Look what they did over here. Don't do it. Our character is going to be an allusion to Leatherface. All right, cool. We know what that character is like. We know the ins and outs of it. Let's make this character's kills our kills, not somebody else's kills. If you're gonna do something and fail, and you're gonna make sure it's your own shit, fail at doing your own thing. Don't fail at trying to copy somebody else.
Right.
So it makes that fail look harder because we know what you're trying to copy from.
Right.
On it, and honestly, you might as well just cut and paste the scene from
JL said, I'm fucking out of here. This movie's so bad. I'm out of here. He says, I can't handle this movie anymore.
No, my bad. Sorry, but it hiccuped on me. My bad. Oops. It's like even my internet, my internet was just like, I can't fucking do it anymore. Well, the reason is because I spent time. I had to look into it. I spent time on. There's probably the reason why my internet. Because we're talking about this again. Because I googled the company that was behind this. Fright Tech Pictures is who was behind this. I went to their website and looked what they do. They have a massive catalog of films. Like a huge, I think almost 200 movies in their catalog. Every single one of them is a film in this style and this level of quality, telling this kind of story. Where they pretty much say, this is this company's specialty. They specialize in the extremely low budget, just the horror trope riffs, the things that make horror movies great, and they just casually throw things together to tell a kind of like basic 3-act story. Sometimes not even that. And that's pretty much it. That's what they do. And either they acquire them and distribute them, or because they're a production and a distribution company. And this is how they make their bread and butter. Pretty much it. They're still putting them out today. All the pretty much direct to DVD or direct to VOD is where you can find them. Just throw them out there. I guess if you throw enough shit at the wall, eventually something will stick. Or if you throw enough shit out there, the pennies it brings back will justify all the shit you've made. I have no fucking clue.
I mean, if you make a film for, let's say they give them a budget of $3,000, and if you're able to get it on the shelf at Walmart just for it existing there, you're gonna make $3,000 back.
Or they'll package it up. Yeah, they'll package it up in a bundle VOD that they'll make all their money back on.
Yeah, it's so low investment where they put out $3,000 and then they'll package it, maybe say for a total of $5,000, and then if they make $50,000 because it goes all over the country, they still make money.
Yep,
that's how you do it. Just keep turning the sausage crank, and what comes out is sausage. But yeah, I mean, hey, sausage sells. I mean, it's what it is. Ginger says Tubi has 2 versions of Hellweek, the original and the Grindhouse. Watch the Grindhouse one. That's the one I watched. Mm-hmm. And there's not much of a difference. It's just kind of like they just kind of like went a little bit harder. But I mean, both of them are technically Grindhouse if you want to go by quality. I mean, shit. But nonetheless,
both of them are technically shithouse. You want to go by
I struggled to find a question to ask the audience on this one, because this one is just know what you're getting into if you watch this movie. If you watch movies like this, obviously these are not made for the awards they're going to win. This is just literally sausage making horror movies. You churn them out, people will buy them. You get, I mean, that's all it is. This is just your low grade sausage
bologna. This is what this is.
Low grade bologna making. That's what it is. This is.
If you want something to laugh at with your friends, if you want to grab a couple drinks and just crack jokes like Mystery Science Theater 3000, because me and my friends love doing stuff like that with movies, then by all means, this is one of the ones I would recommend.
Wrote it no last name says, I'll wait for the Pure Flix version. Well, there were no tits in this, so what the hell? At least throw some TNA from a trouble, not just idiots running around in masks.
They couldn't afford boobs.
Couldn't afford TNA. Please.
Nope.
We could. Come on. There's some strippers out there willing to make an extra $150 on a day, and for like one.
Eugene said they couldn't afford it.
I I stand by my statement.
All right, but because this was technically a college slasher film, because it takes place during rush week, it's the fraternity is hazing people, whatever. They all go to this this creepy warehouse where everybody gets slaughtered by the crazies that live there. I just wanted to ask the audience, what is your favorite college slasher? And I know that there are many, many out there. And of course, this technically qualifies as a college slasher because it's college kids going and partying and getting slashed. So, but what is your favorite college slasher? Let us know in the comments below or at weekinhorror@gmail.com, or of course in the live chat for those who are with us.
I gotta say, Eugene, you look a lot different all of a sudden.
I totally jumped the script, didn't I?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's subconscious.
You want to know this one? Get this fucking movie out.
It's subconscious. I'm sorry, Eugene. I stepped on your toes.
Yeah, so favorite college slasher. I was laughing because it was Nerd Journal who said how to launder money 101.
That's actually that I think it was in the 70s. The porn industry got in trouble for this very thing.
Yeah, there's a movie. It's called like After Fall or something like that. Came out in 2009. That it looks like. I mean, it's bad quality. It looks like something shot in the 70s. They have an MRI machine that's made out of paper that you can tell is paper.
Wow.
And I mean, that level of filmmaking, and for some reason it has a budget of $5 million.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing better. No, absolutely nothing better. I mean, that's up there with the short film that we saw where the person was in the hospital, in a hospital, and the IV that was coming out of their arm was hooked up to an upturned Nestle water bottle.
Yeah,
which I thought was but it was done. That was done intentionally. It was meant to be super, super cheap. It's because it was portraying something else. So that's when it's intentional. That's what's funny, because that was absolutely hilarious. A rubber tube coming out of a Nestle water bottle was just great.
The soap opera one that we watched in the screen called Silver Taps. That one was hilarious.
So I apologize. Didn't mean to jump the gun, to step on your toes right there in the script, but apparently I subconsciously needed to get the fuck out of this movie. And I wanted to get to the trivia tonight. So yes, it is that time. We got a lot. There's a lot of love for Happy Death Day in the live chat.
I love Happy Death Day.
Yeah,
Happy Death Day was great.
It does. It's in college. I don't know. When I think of college horror films, I don't think Happy Death Day, even though it was in college. I think of things like Sorority and
Sorority House Massacre
and
Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah, all the Massacre films.
Was it April Fool's? Was April Fool's high school or college?
I thought it was college.
Yeah, April Fool's was college.
Happy birthday!
I would still consider.
Yeah. All right, but we do have a trivia question.
We do have a trivia question, and we have to make sure we put this trivia question out correctly, because we don't want any fighting in the side chat.
Exactly. But this is true. And you know what? Before we do it, I'm actually going to pop over to the live chat, the actual live show, because that's me. Sorry, I didn't turn my volume down. I want to make sure that I have it completely updated and ready to go. Make sure that I'm getting things. And you got to make sure you don't do top chat. You do live chat on YouTube.
Live chat, yeah.
That's right. Okay, cool. Someone said, I like Urban Legend. Or Nerd Journal said, I like Urban Legend, but I have bad taste. Angel Rivera with the win. Night of the Creeps. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. I got good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here. The bad news is they're dead. That's how you sell a movie.
All right.
So the prize tonight for our trivia. So everybody flex those Google fingers, because this is what you're going to win. I don't have a copy of it.
You're going to win an autographed face mask of. No, I'm kidding.
No. You're going to win the Tremors box set. All 7 movies together. The Tremors box set.
I'm so excited about this Tremors box set.
I am totally excited about this. I want to give this bad boy away. And so,
jump in a box and mark it guaranteed.
We have the entire franchise, the entire Tremors franchise. It doesn't have the TV series in it, but it has all 7 movies, including the newest one that just came out. The entire arc is available as a prize tonight for tonight's trivia question. So, Johnny, take it away so that these people can try and win this thing.
All right. Now, so the trivia question is, how many actors have portrayed Leatherface on screen? Now, what we mean by on screen are released films that have already come out. How many actors have portrayed Leatherface on screen?
Here we go.
Yes,
Here
upcoming does not count.
Right.
Chris Durham would like to say, trivia question, Hal Holbrook in something I don't know. I got nothing.
Yep. Exactly. Ooh,
got some close ones. Close ones. Tony Regime, you're close.
K91.
Alpha K91 is the first. Let me double check that and make sure. Yeah, I think there. Yes, Alpha K91 is correct. There have been 8 actors who have portrayed Leatherface on screen. So the 9th is the new guy coming in, the new one coming out in 2022. He has not technically been him on screen yet, but there have been 8 actors who have portrayed him on screen. And just to cover that, 1 second. Leatherface has been portrayed by Gunnar Hansen, Tom Morga, Bill Johnson, R.A. Mihailoff, Robert Jacks, Andrew Bernarski, Dan Yeager, and Sam Strike are the 8 actors who have portrayed Leatherface on screen. Mark Burnham will be the 9th. So, wrote an last name, close, but 10 to the negative 17. Tor is not how many actors have played him, but it may seem that way. But yes, way to go. That's actually funny. And remember, it is still a positive number. One thing that's interesting while I was looking through that is that one of those, Tom Morga? I want to make sure I'm talking about the right guy. Yes, Tom Morga is really, really cool. The second person that's on there, because he has portrayed, other than like lots of Star Trek characters, because he's a stuntman, he could do cool stuff like that. He is the only actor, stuntman, actor, whatever, to portray Jason, Leatherface, and Michael. He's played all 3 at some point. The only actor to actually do that, so he's up there with like Bill Paxton, the only character, the only actor to be killed by an alien, a predator, and a Terminator. So yes, Thomas Morga has played both. He played Jason Voorhees in Part 4 in the flashback sequences. He played Leatherface, and then of course Michael Myers. I can't remember which one it was. It was in 4, I think it was. He played Michael Myers in 4. And then, of course, he did a lot of work in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, stunt coordination, and played some characters where he actually won awards for that. So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Cool.
All right, so congratulations to Alpha K91. You get the full Tremors box set, all 7 movies. We're going to ship that right out to you. So, Aaron Reese says, I just counted everyone with a Wikipedia page. Alpha K91 says the most hated contestant in Week in Horror history. No. Hey, man, you win. Everyone's got the equal opportunity.
That's true.
It's all about that Google foo. How you do it?
How you search it, that matters.
Yeah, so congratulations again to Alpha K91. Awesome. What was this? That was the closest. Mystique, Tina Jones says that was the closest 42 has been to being a correct answer. Awesome. Yes, Travis Brown. He says he was Jason in Tommy's mind, so it does not count. It does count. It so counts. That was him.
He was on screen.
He was on screen.
On screen.
All right. So thank you all so much. This is fantastic. And that will bring another episode of Week in Horror to a close. Thank you all so much for listening. We truly hope you enjoyed the show. Join us next week when we look back at Dybbuk horror in The Unborn, brutal survival horror in The Furies, a return to classic Universal monsters with the Return of the Invisible Man, and the psychological horror of Doom Room. God, it sounds so dumb when I say it out loud, but we'd like to send a special shout out to all of our amazing patrons who will continue to help us make Week in Horror the incredible success it has become. Thank you all so very, very much. And you guys know all that cool artwork we have for the show and our limited edition t-shirts? Well, Week in Horror artist Joshua Olsen has opened up a store with all of his amazing designs. Check out www.badsamurai.store to see all of the latest amazing additions to his shop. And keep in mind, The current discount at our Teespring is still in effect for the next couple of days. That ends on the 31st. That is the last opportunity to get any Week in Horror merchandise as cheaply as possible. So check that out. Visit us at weekinhorror.net, where you can find links to all of our episodes, our bios, our merch store at Teespring, and of course, enter your email for a permanent entry to win a mystery horror shirt every month, courtesy of $6shirts.com. We love them over there. That's where I got this one. Watch TV. So please like and subscribe and smash that bell like someone's head caught in a jigsaw trap for all the latest updates from the show, and be sure to leave us a comment. For those interactions, they really help us with the dreaded algorithm, which is legitimately the slasher in our story. So, read. And lastly, if you truly love what we do here and would like and are able to support our production, you can through our Patreon. We have tiers as low as $1 a month. That's cheaper than a Friday the 13th throwaway victim. Higher tiers get early and special access, bonus content, monthly horror movies, and even join us as special judges for our Bloodbath debates and our After Darks when we do things like play movie trivia nights. And you can see if you can beat us, beat the horror experts. Come on. But if Patreon is not your preferred cup of blood, you can always support the show through our PayPal as well. Links to all of this, including to our Discord community, where you can find film recommendations, trailers for the movies we talk about, trivia games, horror watch parties, and even interact directly with us, are in the description below. I don't know what that picture is, Johnny.
Just keep reading.
It's weird. As always, sharing the show with the friends in your local horror community is the absolute best way to help us continue to grow. Thank you all for being the greatest audience a podcast could possibly have. I am JL.
And I'm Eugene.
And this is a family of fucking weirdos.
That's weird.
That's fucking weird, dude. Remember, join us on the live shows so you can see weird stuff like Johnny is putting on the screen. It's fucking creepy. It's
I mean, I can make a horror movie off that picture.
That's creepy as shit. Anyway, we'll see you all next week. What?
Even the people in the chat are like, that's unnerving.
deeply unsettling. So thank you all so much. We'll see you next week. And as always, stay scared.